Okay, cool.
Smotherman's good, dude, because that shit was crazy.
Oh yeah, no, just from what I understand, there's a lot of moving parts to this, and when you're
Mm-hmm.
cutting weight, like you do
Mm-hmm.
everything slow, and from what I understand, it's almost like he got rushed up to the stage, and then after that, like uh, getting rushed up and going up the stairs and kind of stepping on the scale. That I think that's what actually got him. But from what I understand, like he was like the weight was good. He was using the restroom whenever he got the notification for him to like for him to go to the scale, and like there, from what I understand, they were moving him pretty fast. It wasn't like I don't know who exactly it was or anything like that, but from what I understand, it was it was like a new hire or something like that, you know. So like
That
from what
was it was a newer employee from the UFC
yeah yeah
that was rushing
yeah
him
like
up to the stage. Okay.
yeah, but like it's like nothing crazy because even then, like whenever I saw him like kind of jumping, going up the stairs, like it just felt like he was going. But like I'm not blaming the UFC or anything. Not we're not gonna blame
Mm-hmm.
the UFC or anything like that. Like it just happened to be mishap, you know. Again, like it does seem like it was like hey, like trying to get them going. You know, I guess somebody who hasn't been around fighters too much, you know. So,
Yeah.
uh, but then again, it's still a lot of weight to cut for a lot of these guys. But Cameron it was a good weight cut. And also, they have a history. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I understand. But diverging from Cameron, going to you,
Hmm.
have you had one of those like scary moments like that while cutting weight? We've all heard about Habib, the tiramisu, having to go to the hospital. Cameron's one of the most recent one where he collapsed on stage. Is there anything been like that that's happened to you while the 6 years you've been in the UFC, 13 years fighting?
Oh yeah, man. Weight cuts are just absolutely fucking terrible. Every single time, like I'm going out there and I'm seeing guys cutting weight, seeing women cutting weight, I see them put themselves to the absolute most brutal shit. For me, I remember whenever I was going against Davy Grant, like I don't know, I remember just jumping out the sauna and then I had the urge to go throw up. So I went to the restroom, like, and I ended up throwing up a little bit, and then I was just like, I didn't know I had anything in me to throw up at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I started walking back into the room, and I went from like a cold spot to a warm spot, and then I don't know, like I went from hot to cold to back to hot. And then I remember walking into the spa room in the UCPI, and
Mm-hmm.
it got a little scary for me where I started seeing like everything kind of fade in and close in. And like I took a seat, like I had to, like because if I would have kept trying to walk to where I was going to, man, it I would have been passed out, you know. So
Yeah.
there's been that scary experience. Uh, the cut for Rob Font was definitely one of those. I had one of those moments where I was just moving around and everything just felt
So with that cut
soft.
with Rob Font, would that
Mhm.
could you equate that weight cut to maybe your performance that was what got happened to like have you get caught and end up getting knocked out by him?
Oh yeah, I once I started finding out like how to actually cut weight and all these other things that kind of help manage, I I've noticed a big difference because I've been hit. I've been hit harder, man. I got front kicked in the face right like in the fight before I got in my contenders, you know. So
Hmm.
I've definitely been hit way harder. But I think it was just a mixture of like not making excuses because that was a hell of a game plan from Rob, man. Like they game planned around me for me to slip. I shouldn't have been there, but like
Yeah.
overall, like he caught me straight on the button. I don't know if I was like if I was a little bit dehydrated going into that fight or whatever, you know. But yeah, he caught me right on the button. Even if I was fully hydrated, that probably still would have put me out. So there's,
Yeah.
you know,
His hands are those it's they're scary because they're not long, but it's especially for someone like you who's also like more of a predominant striker. When you want to get inside the pocket in exchange, he has that power where he could and turn your lights off like with an instant.
Oh yeah.
And that's what was scary for me when I was watching that fight when you and him, because I knew how you like to fight, and I knew that's kind of where you have your success is in the pocket. And then recently watching him against Rahul Rosas, I was like, Rahul is going to need to get in the pocket to shoot in. And that's what had me, very 50-50 about him. That fight, I also noticed, was very early on in your career. From that fight until this last fight with Ricky Simone, you seemed a lot more patient, a lot more calculated with your attack, with your strikes and your movement. What changed? Obviously, it's been a couple of years, but what changed
Mhm.
overall in your training from then until now to like get you to upgrade your, I would say, your fight IQ?
Oh man, honestly, like I've always had great fight IQ, like especially because I've been out there kind of coaching a lot of these other fighters and all that stuff. So like I've been always been looking at ways to try to get the win, and I feel like I fucked myself like in those past couple fights, like the Rob Font fight again. Like I'm never gonna make an excuse for myself. Like I went in there 100% lost, and uh like I just felt like I started drinking the Kool Aid a little bit too much. Because again, everybody was telling me, "Is like, oh, you're the next big thing, next big thing, next big thing, next big thing." And next thing you know, like I fight Rob Font, I literally get out of my own head. I'm just like, it was very fucking like one of those like you're getting love from everywhere, and then like you're getting these big deals and all that shit, and then next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I again, it just got caught up all in my own head.
Yeah.
The Martinez fight, literally the first kick that that he threw that landed, I
Mm-hmm.
my leg just completely was just done. Like
Yeah.
it was literally the first kick. I was trying to fake it. Uh, and then my
Fake it till
Benicio
you make it.
Salvador fight, yeah. So literally, I was trying, but bro, that motherfucker had me done for the very first kick. uh, there's a lot of stuff that in that camp as well too that I'm not very happy about, but I'm never gonna let that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, it took like that Daniel Marcos fight for me to kind of just sit back and be like, I need to fucking change something. I need to change it now because I was close to winning that fight. It was a close fight, and a lot of people say that I won, but at the same time, I just look at it like the judges thought I lost. So I have to go out there and fix whatever problem I had. And then I go out to touring with Brandon Moreno in Mexico City for a Steve Erceg fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran into Coach Safe, and then we just clicked. And from there, like it's just been more of like he's been more on it on the mental side because again, he understood. He's like he knows how good I am because he's also seen me from my regional career and up. But he's also like just like hey, like it's more mental more than anything. You need to stay locked in, not have these other outside things affecting you. When you go in there, you got to be a fucking dog, and you have to be mentally a killing dog, like not just like a fucking like you have to be tactical, you know. And
Yeah.
that was the most important thing for me was learning how to be tactical, be a killer, and also be tactical and be smart about my decisions. So I give it up to Coach Safe because man, he brought that out of me and really made me think, and he was really challenging me. In like the thought process of how I was going to approach this Ricky Simone fight. Again, we only had a month.
Yeah.
I wasn't really even training for a fight, but like I was training, but I wasn't training for a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And so like within a month, that's what I was able to pull out. I'm pretty sure he already had his heart set in fighting that night.
Yeah.
So for me, like I just jumped in. Like, again, not
Yeah.
like you can tell by my physique even jumping in there. You're just like oh like I'm a little bit fluffier. I'm a little bit like I wasn't
you
training
were
for a
you
fight.
were a bigger bantamweight.
Yeah, I definitely was. I had my love
uh,
handles going on.
Yeah, but listen, dude. But the thing is, even with that a little bit of like extra weight, like coming out of no fighting, it was you still looked crisp. You were very light on your feet. Your hands were explosive. I mean, even in the first, as close as the first round was, I still had you, winning it by like I would say a smaller margin because you both had your exchanges. It's just the end of that second round going into the third. It felt like Ricky Simone was defeated, and it was you were just piling it on him throughout the rest of the fight, and then it brings to the last 10 seconds. Where was your mindset in that when you dropped him and he's just sitting there?
Oh yeah, honestly, like you're not the first person to tell me that in the second round, like getting defeated. Because like I've had a lot of people telling me is like after that, like after his takedown, and as soon as you pop back up whenever I wanted to, because it looked, because again, like in that second round, I did something that I told myself I wasn't going to do in this fight, and I accepted
Hmm.
position. I
Yeah.
accepted that full guard, and
Yep.
you can literally hear me go fuck. Like I
Yeah.
and then you hear coach at the end just like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fucking
Yeah.
moving. I was like, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do that. And then right after I broke off, like I noticed like he like like the temperament change. He was like, oh, his tone. He's
Hmm.
like, oh, he's a little bit slower. But that third round, man, I started hurting him like with
Yeah.
almost every
Dude,
exchange that I was
every time
we
you hit
got
him,
in.
yeah, every time you hit him in the third round, he was wobbling, and then it
Yes.
took. I think what. See, I'm not. I won't listen. Listen, I won't lie to you. I took Ricky to win, but it wasn't like I took him to walk through you. I just thought the time off, the wrestling advantage, and
Hmm.
Ricky just having this. I mean, listen, he's a vet. He knows how to win a fight when he needs to. I thought that's where
Yeah.
he was going to take it, and it was a pleasant surprise to me that I was completely wrong because I know it was a draw, but I don't see it that way. I think that I think that he wasn't expecting you to be able to turn it on the way you were. I think that after the first round and then after he got a little bit of success early in the second with the takedowns and being able to, slam you down, he was okay, I got this. And then he gassed out. He let himself believe that he won the first two. And I think that's honestly coming from his coaches where they were saying that, hey, like you're up 2-1, he needs to finish. And that's where he kind of let off the gas and you were able to turn it up and brought it to what it was. Going forward with that, was there any animosity between you and Ricky, or was it just like like what the fuck?
Oh yeah. No, even just to kind of finish off that last part of the question,
Mm.
like yeah, like I felt the urgency on his end because the way he took the center was like again, I think we both know if you were to put us in a room, we both know who won
Hmm.
because like the way he approached that, I don't think he believed that he was up because even when the
Yeah.
scorecards are read, he was just like, oh, like he looked defeated and looking towards me like damn, I think they fucked you, you know. But
Hmm.
yeah, like I the last 10 seconds I was going in there, I in my head I was like, I'm in his hometown. I got to go out there and I got to kill this motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of finishing off there. But like to the next question, next point, man, no, there wasn't no animosity here. There was like I've been around him before and we've had good conversations. Man, honestly, I think the night that Brandon Moreno won his fight against Kai Kara France for the
Hmm.
title, like me and him had the same sponsors and we're out there like our sponsors are getting me and him drunk and we're both like looking at each other having a good time. So like
Yeah.
it's there was never no animosity between me and him. Like I did feel a way about the whole Cameron Smotherman fight,
Hmm.
and like it's because it was more like, man, you beat up my little brother. I got to go out there and I got to fuck you up real quick, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But even then, like even in that third round for because I got some insight whenever I started rewatching and also re-remembering the fight between him and Cam was I was
Hmm.
looking at it. I'm like, oh, that third round I can get this motherfucker out of here if
Yeah.
that was me. Because Cameron started landing a lot of bigger shots in that third round. Like
Hmm.
Cameron started feeling comfortable with himself and actually being like, "Nah, I'm gonna get this motherfucker out of here," and he almost did. Me, I got a lot. I just got a lot closer because I already knew what to expect because I had that
Yep.
insight. And
Hmm.
uh, and yeah, like so for me, it was just more like I'm gonna get to you. Dude, I got all the love and respect towards you, but I have to put your lights out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like like I said prior, you're coming off a year layoff. This is, you had a canceled fight in 2025. Now you're coming back against a vet that actually, has great wins under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Marab, everyone else in the division. It was a big moment for you, and I think, like I said, and there's a lot of people saying it that they believe you were robbed. With that, do you believe you were robbed? Is that something that you have in your head that you're like, okay, like the judges got it wrong?
Oh, 100%. I do believe I was robbed, but at the same time, like I can't dwell on it and be like, I was robbed. Oh, fuck
Yeah,
on. Like
yeah.
it's like I can't like I'm not gonna be one of those guys that's gonna sit and dwell on it for like a whole like a couple months and be like, oh no, they fucked me. No, the UFC did this. No, fuck that, man. Like, because again, I should have done more. I could have done more, and honestly, I should have got it done. Like, like, because even in the last round, like, I heard my coach go like 38 seconds, gun for it, go for it.
Yeah.
But I only gunned for it and gunned for it as soon as I heard that 10-second clapper, and I was like, oh, like fuck, I should have listened whenever he told me to go. I wouldn't be in this situation. I would have had him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, just like I'm looking at it as a win because again, I saw nobody really picking me leading up
Yeah.
to the fight. I had
Yep.
a lot. There was a lot of people that were saying like, "Nah, Yanez is about to get mauled. He's about to get like, bro, he's about to lose, and the UFC's gonna cut him." Like I saw all of it. Like I saw all of this shit, bro. So like, yeah, like
It's
I was sitting there. It was like more of like a like I know I got robbed, and now seeing all the people that are saying I was gonna get caught also saying that I was robbed.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just sitting back. I'm
Full
just like, it's
circle.
more like it's literally me just being like, man, where the fuck was this at, bro? Like,
Yeah.
you got a lot of these guys that are like, oh yeah, like they're all picking Ricky by mauling or Ricky by like me knocking me the fuck out and all that shit, and everybody's like, oh, he's chinny, he's this, he's that, and I'm just like sitting back. I took his hardest shot. I kept
Yeah.
coming forward. I threw my hardest shot. Look at him. Like so,
Yeah.
like and the animosity on from my end never came towards Ricky. It was all
Yeah.
towards like everybody else looking at me like, oh no, nah, he's done. Like, nah, man, I just needed the right mix. Like I needed the
Mm-hmm.
right people behind me. I needed the right mentality behind me. And yeah, like I honestly think I'm like one of the best, if not the best in the world. And again, that might be my delusion, but I'm supposed to have that because this is what the sport we do. Like
You
I'm
got to be
supposed to be able
delusional.
to. Yeah, you got to walk into like a room and just be like, all right, cool. All these motherfuckers, I can beat all these motherfuckers' ass every
Yeah.
once in a while when it comes into competition mode. But like, I'm not saying to do it like every day. Like that's so fucking unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You only do that in like in the competition room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because I mean, you have to, right? Because if you go in there in the mindset of like, okay, like, oh, I'm going in there. This ginormous heavyweight is gonna whoop my ass. Okay, I'm already defeated. You're already defeating yourself mentally prior to you even exchanging with this person, or even if they're like or grappling with this person, right? Like there's there's a couple people in the live right now saying Jones versus Yanez. Like I feel like even with that, like you would go in there with the mindset like, all right, I'm gonna whoop this motherfucker's ass. Like, yeah, he's John Jones, but I'm Adrian fucking Yanez. Who cares? But that's the mindset that you need to have. You need to be delusional to be a fighter, to be a competitor.
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you have to have that. Like I know regional fighters now. They're like barely 1-0, 2-0, just being like, "No, I can knock that motherfucker out right now." And it's at the same time too. Like there is a little bit of healthy realism where you got to be like, "Oh shit!" Like you got to take a step back because again, there's always like I play with two versions all the time. I'm like play with two versions of myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The fighter is always going to be like, "I'll fuck up anybody, anytime, any place, any moment. Let's fucking go right now." The other person I play as well is like a lot of times whenever I'm like coaching or giving advice towards other fighters, I'll be looking at them like nah, that's not the smart play right now. I don't think we
Mm-hmm.
should fight that guy right now. I think we should do
Yeah.
this. Like I think we should start moving this way. I like down the line we can get that guy. Right now I
Mm-hmm.
need to build you up. I need to like we need to start looking for other fights for you to get. So like those that constant there's always a constant battle there. But like if you were telling me to jump in a room with John Jones and John Jones is right there, like I'm gonna fight my ass off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I know I'm dead. Like I know I'm dead. Like that. Like you have to have a little bit of like, oh shit, like I can fuck this motherfucker up. But again, that only goes so far until like
Yeah.
reality hits you in the face and you got your fucking nose plastered on the other side, looking like Brandon
Yeah.
Vera.
Yep. That's oh man.
Yeah, I just dropped an old one for y'all guys.
Yeah,
That's an
Brandon.
old one.
If you listen, Brandon, I remember playing UFC Undisputed 3 and fighting Brandon Vera all the time because he was just one of those guys that would just consider like I remember like specifically like my creative play like I would whoop him like 4 times and then randomly he like I'd be champion and randomly he'd be a contender. I'd be like I just whooped your ass. Like what are we talking about? Like fucking Brandon Vera. But so with the judging situations because
Mhm.
this isn't like the first time we've seen something like this. You know, Charles Jourdain, we've had the Volkov gone, you and Ricky. all of Sean O'Malley's fights. Sorry. um, do you think that the fighters need to be a little bit more outspoken towards Dana or towards the organization rather than just being like, what, like, having a little couple, digs here and there, being upset about it on Twitter, but like, what do you think you guys can do as fighters to change the judging?
Honestly, it's not even a UFC problem. Well, it
Mm-hmm.
is a problem for the UFC, but it's not a problem that the UFC can essentially really fix because it is off of the commissions. And I will say
Mm-hmm.
it like this: just knowing the Texas Commission myself and being around it for since bro, like man, I'm gonna sound fucking old. Like about 15 years being around
Yeah.
it, you know, like me seeing like how they run it, and I seen like so many like these judges get just awful scorecards. Like it literally has to start through the commission. It has to
Yeah.
start it has to start through them. And now like you're starting to see a lot more fighters and a lot more people who are more enthusiastic about jumping into the judging and actually like listening to the scoring criteria of a fight and not letting it be like left up to somebody's interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like
Yeah.
because if like it's really simple whenever you look at the scoring criteria and it's all about damage and then they start going into like it goes into tiers. You only go to the next tier if the damage is the same, and then you go to the
Mm-hmm.
next tier if like let's just say the control was the same, like who was winning certain spots, who like who was threatening a little bit more. Like there's a again the tier list is there for a reason,
Yeah.
and
I Go ahead. Go ahead.
and yeah, and like, and I've seen so many incompetent judges get the call to judge these big fights time and time again, and even to the point where like I know like Texas has been one of those places where the commission and the results of the judges is always funky. It's always screwy. There's always a terrible decision here in Houston, in Texas, like with
Mm-hmm.
every big fight. Like even going back to boxing, like in Paulo Malignaggi versus Juan Baby Bull Diaz, like that was here in Houston. Paulo Malignaggi got screwed out there, the
Mm-hmm.
hometown decision. But honestly, I already knew what I was expecting that whenever I would go into Seattle and see those guys. Like I knew the risk. Uh, but at the same time, like for like I think it's just more of the commission actually like the people on the commission actually like the people who know how to score and judge like actually getting put in the position to actually score and judge these fights because I've seen it like man I've seen favoritism play out
Yeah.
like and especially in the Texas State Commission, you know, I've seen it play out one too many times, and honestly, it does get annoying because it's like they really fuck over fighters. Like
Yeah.
so it's not only in the UFC but on the regional scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like the on the regional scene, like they're fucking up people's careers before it even starts. And then
Yeah.
you see a lot of these guys who will have an amazing run. They're like 5-0. They're beating everybody. They get one screwy decision and that derails their confidence and everything else so much that they end up not becoming anybody, you know, because again, it's these fucking judges, man. Like for me, I lose out half a paycheck, but most of these people lose the opportunity to even fight for something of like a
Progress.
12 and 12,
Yeah.
you know, because most of these fighters are fighting for 500 to show, 500 to win, less than that if they're not selling tickets, you know. So
Yeah.
so like again, like these guys are fighting for literally pennies, and then you have a judge that's making them get paid less, you know, for not getting
Mm-hmm.
their win money.
So with this, with the favoritism and everything, do you believe that the Dana White privilege has a little bit this like a pull in that? Because like I feel like as a fan that sometimes when
Mhm.
I watch a fighter get overly pushed into our face and then they have a
Mhm.
really close fight, like an extremely close fight to where it should have been a draw or it's leaning either way, they ultimately get like a unanimous decision or they get something crazy. And it feels like to me that I'm not saying that like the UFC is
Mhm.
paying these guys, but it
Yeah.
feels like they know where the UFC might be pushing these guys and they're trying to help in a way. I could be tripping, but
Yeah, no, that like I can definitely see that and why like how like people on the outside will would 100% see it and look at it that way. And there
Mhm.
might be times where that might be the case, but I haven't heard of anything like that. All I know is I know judges, and I know how stupid they can be,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to scoring like an MMA fight. Like even like boxing judges coming over to score MMA fights and like tend to screw a lot of this stuff up just
Mhm.
because even again like Tony Weeks judging my fight with Davy Grant. Like, if you were scoring that fight off of damage, bro, I damaged him. Like, why was it a 30-27 all the way through for Tony Weeks on Tony Weeks' cards? Like, the only thing I can think of is just like he was looking at a lot of this other stuff and be like, oh, he landed a kick here, but yeah, but that kick didn't do anything. I punched him in the face
Mhm.
when I threw it.
Yeah.
Like mine was more damaging. So
Yeah.
I definitely think it's a lot more incompetent judging, and also do think that the fame factor at times can also pull pull out, because again, like these judges, they're human.
Mhm.
they they are probably, they're supposed to be biased, not unbiased, my bad, unbiased, they're supposed to be unbiased,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure most of them have like a fighter that they prefer.
Yeah.
I've literally seen it on the regional scene where this judge is judging a guy that he absolutely hates, and bro, it's just like he's not going to give it to him. Like you already know.
Mhm.
And I've seen it in a point where a fighter has fought somebody from a gym where that person, their coach, is also a judge as well. There was no way, and he was judging that fight that night as well too. Luckily, the guy finished him, but you can see how that kind of would get screwy. It was a 5 round fight. All 4 rounds were definitely not going to the other guy for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, like I just think it's just the judges and who works for the commission. I don't put it too much on the UFC, but I do think the UFC can like really push a stronger narrative and trying to get better judging.
Mhm.
100%. And I think they have. I think they had like that. I know they got Big John McCarthy and Herb Dean to like kind of do some stuff, like, or Herb Dean or Big John McCarthy have gone out their way
And like
to start
vetted,
helping out.
yeah,
Yes,
like vetted the judges and stuff. Would would it almost be better to get like a unionized system for judges instead of like each state commission? Because like you said, like if I'm fighting in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and John Jones, and we have a John Jones Dominic Reyes fight, and it's razor thin, it tends to put in someone's head where it's okay, you've, like Dana White says, if you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. But some people might have thought he did, but he's in his hometown. I if you I feel like if you get a unionized group where it may not be, like I said, like I'm from New Jersey, so we don't have
Mhm.
we have a New Jersey State Commission. Instead of New Jersey State Commission, we get the mixed martial arts judging committee, and they have 100 people on the roster, and then they just send them out. You have
Mhm.
three here, three there. Do you think something like that could maybe mitigate the bad judging? I mean, it's always gonna be sometimes baddie, but less frequent.
Yeah, 100%. I think that would work out as well too. But I also know that the UFC also knows about the judging problem. So like sometimes they'll, like, this is a big reason why somebody like Herb Dean can go from like state to state to state, is because they
Mm,
request somebody like Herb Dean. Like they honestly, anytime they request somebody, is because they're the best at what they do.
yeah.
So they're all. This is from what I understand. Uh, but I just don't know how much that would like structurally. I don't know how that would be structured.
Mhm.
Like that's out of my pay grade. I don't know how to. But like
Yeah.
but in theory, like I do like that. Like I do think
Yeah.
that would be super beneficial for a lot of these fighters.
No, I think it would overall, but again, like I'm just a guy who talks on the internet, man. I have no idea how to organize that.
I'm just the guy that gets punched in the face too, so I would know.
Listen again. Hey, Dana, if you're watching for whatever reason, all right, remember us. Remember us. But again, and so then moving past the judging and into the reffing, have you seen a change since the whole, the eye poke stuff going on consistently, the fence grabbing, the growing shots? Have you, as a fighter, seen a change in maybe the way that fighters are acting or proceeding in their fights because of this, or do you think it's just no one cares?
Man, I think everybody's kind of moving along the same.
Mm-hmm.
I do hear a little bit more of like the whenever the language comes off, like in a sense of when they start talking about like we will take a point away, we will do this, like they're getting a little bit more aggressive with it,
Mm-hmm.
like just talking about it, but the actual like taking a point away or doing whatever, like it's it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like I
I mean,
think the only time I'd seen it was Cody Garbrandt and that the guy that he was fighting. There's only a couple times like where I've actually seen him take more points. Like I feel like now, like this year, I felt like it's happened more.
mhm.
But like I just like again, like even in the rules meeting, they're like, yeah, even this right here is a foul from now on. He's like,
But I've seen that in every single fight
see,
since they've said that.
and you see like every single like again. And while we're talking in the rules meeting, he's like, yeah, if he does this about 4 or 5 or 6 times, they're gonna get a warning from me. That like in the sixth time, like that's whenever I'm like, I'm gonna take a point away, and I'm just like, motherfucker, that should have been the point where it'd been like you let us know now, like you
Yeah.
should like you're letting us. This is our. They always say this is your first warning, especially in the back. Here's
Hmm.
your first warning. When you go in there, that's a stern one,
Yeah.
and then we take the point.
No. Yeah.
And so like and if you look at it, it hasn't been like that. Like they do not hold true to their word whenever they're in there.
No. It. You're. Sometimes you can equate it to a missed foul, like a fence grab or maybe a head clash that wasn't caught. But when you have guys when you have your champion, your heavyweight champion who's out for an extended period of time because of an egregious eye poke, and you're watching guys in literally the fight after with Ian Gary and Bilal Muhammad. Was it Bilal Muhammad? I think it was. It was.
Uh,
It was.
was it the one where he got his eye like screwed like really badly or?
It was like right after the Tom Aspinall fight. It was Ian Gary poked somebody in the eye, and
Okay.
that was right after Herb Dean made this whole statement like, yeah, we're taking points away right away, and then Herb Dean's reffing that fight, and it just didn't happen. Like,
Oh yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah,
it gives us as fans like no like structure, because it's like, okay, like, all right, now we're maybe picking and choosing who was poking someone in the eye. They're saying it was Bilal, so it was right after it was Bilal. Um, I mean, he's an eye poker as well. But I my solution to all this is you got to take the reps out of it. You got to make it a point. It has to be a definite thing from the UFC. Like, hey, like we want this to happen. It's not up to you. But also, sometimes the points don't matter, right? Like you saw Mavzar win off of losing, a point. Start
hmm
finding these guys, right? If like the NBA, the NFL, like you commit an egregious foul, not only are you getting suspended, but you're catching a fat fine, and that really keeps guys away from like fouling all the time. I to me, I think that's like I'm already, if I lose, I'm losing half my check. But then fuck, if I poke this guy in the eye, like, all right, I'm keeping my hands
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah, no, that does sound like something. That does sound something like very interesting. Because again, you have to take the fight approach a little bit more cautious, and I do think that like it would make. I know that would put something in the fighter's head and be like, "Oh fuck! Like I can't poke this guy in the eye, or I can't
Yeah.
accidentally do this. Like even if it happened by accident, like oh fuck!" Like it
Mm-hmm.
makes them thinking about it. Like I think it would change the fighting style just a little bit. But for me, man, like the guy who's kind of gotten like I've only gotten fouled in the UFC, I believe. I don't think I fouled anybody in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but like yeah, like again, like the Daniel Marcos one where I got fucking eye poked and also dick kicked. Like I felt like that should have been I felt like that should have been a point taken just because I remember talking to them and being like talking to the judges and be like not the judge, the ref, and being like, hey, like he's a habitual fouler. Like he's had a fight where they went to like a no contest because of
Mm-hmm.
the fouling, and literally first round, boom boom, double foul
Yeah.
within a span of like literally a second,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing happens. And I'm just sitting there, like even to the and like and I'm pretty pissed off about it. Just that like that foul in general because I remember looking at it and just kind of being like, dude, I got double fouled. I got memes made out of me, like, which was funny. Like those memes were fucking hilarious. but 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 yeah, like nothing. There was no repercussions behind it.
Yeah.
It was just more like it was more like a hey, don't do it again, bro. Don't do it again. And I'm
little
just like,
smack, a smack on the hand. Just no.
yeah, and like, and I was completely like, I was trying to do whatever I could to stay in that fight, but I already knew that my depth perception was off because whenever he poked me, some of the Vaseline got into my eye.
Mm.
So like, I was already on a blurred vision. So even after the fight, man, like I was kind of even just chilling in the hotel room. I didn't realize how bad the eye poke was, and I fucking just sneezed, and then all of a sudden I'm just crying blood out
Oh,
that eye that got poked. So I didn't realize how bad it was until that fucking happened. So like I'm a little bit salty about that one, but
yeah.
it's again like that would have turned that fight into a draw. You know,
Yeah.
like that would have
I
turned that fight into a draw, and that I would be able to sit with that one a little bit better. You know.
mhm. So leading to that, so that I mean, I do remember that eye poke that was pretty bad. You were out for a little bit, like recovering. You think Tom Aspinall quit?
I don't think so. Like because
Yeah.
I know like again like I won't say I don't think he quit,
Mm-hmm.
but only at the end of the day, it's only him that will truly actually know. Because again, I
Mm-hmm.
can we can sit here and be like oh he quit, or you can fight to your like your black and blue and just being like fucking red in the face, like he fucking quit, or you
Yeah.
can be like nah he didn't fucking quit. Like that, you don't know what it feels. Eye poke, especially in a fight, can really fuck you up. Because again, like the nail, especially depending on what type it was, if it slid down, swiped it down, like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of shit that can happen. But at the end of the day, it's all on Tom. Like
Yeah.
we can think whatever we think, but only he's really gonna truly know whether he actually got fucked up or if he quit. Because at the end of the day, he's the one that has to lay himself to bed and be like, I
Mm-hmm.
like this is what happened, you know.
Yeah. I
So for me, it's not like I'm not gonna say he quit because again, like he became a champ for a reason,
mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I don't think he quit. I think that he did the right thing to preserve his health. It's like I made a whole video on it and like it got a lot
Mhm.
of people because like when
Yeah,
Hardwick he just fought and broke his jaw. I
yeah,
the hook was immaculate. I was like,
oh
Hardwick's a
yeah.
quitter. I was like, Hardwick's a quitter. I was like, I don't
Mhm.
know what you want me to tell you. And I was like, but then I explained, I was like, if you're gonna call Tom Aspinall a quitter for getting poked in the eye,
Yeah.
then you have to call Hardwick a quitter. Why didn't you fight? You know, and then big people didn't really understand the message, but I did. But I don't think he quit. I think that you're fighting for your your life, literally your life. You're fighting
Mhm.
to like make money for your family, provide, and then you're risking your life every single time you're out there. If you go out there and you fight with one eye, I mean, yeah, I mean you have your anomalies in Bisping, and that's it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Your level of life it just diminishes completely. Like you're not gonna be able to you talk to your kids if you broke your jaw and kept fighting. You're not gonna be able to potentially see them out of one eye. I that's one thing that I really dislike about the MMA community is how toxic it is, and I do think it stems from the UFC. I think it stems from Dana White and then the people that he surrounded the UFC with. And I don't know if that's do you feel that inside of the UFC as much as like we may feel it outside here as fans.
Oh no, definitely. It's not by that by any means. Like again, like I think when it comes to like bro, they tell us in the fighter like whenever they separate the coaches from the fighters, it's like
Mm-hmm.
they've told us before, if you get fouled, like it's on you whether you want to continue or not because and they give us the statistics like the statistics of you winning after you've been fouled, like the chances of winning drop down drastically. They
Mm-hmm.
have statistics behind that, and they're like, yeah, like bro, if you got felt that bad, don't continue to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
and I understand, like I can understand the outside people being like looking at a message that like let's just say like the Dana White, like on that Dana White Tom Aspinall thing. I get where people be like, oh man, like he's throwing his heavyweight champion under the bus. I was like, but like you also got to feel like the frustrations of like the fight ending like that, from like you're the head, you're the top of the guy, head boss. You're trying to you just sold this company for 7.7 billion. Now you have to keep trying to produce like high level fights. And if a fight ends up like that, it doesn't make the company look good. So it
Yeah.
might be some frustrations from that end as well too. Again, I'm a guy that's always going to give grace because again, like I am not in Dana White's position at all. So like I don't know how it is to run a $7 billion company or anything like that. So like for me, I'm just like, all right, cool. I never been there. I don't know the frustrations behind it, but I will give grace on the position that he was in. But the way he could have said something, it could have been said in a different way.
Yeah. No,
Sucks, you know.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. I definitely agree with that. He could have verb said, like you said, just said it completely different. Like instead of just like, I think he just wanted to get out of there. Or like how,
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like he's a very brash person, but when you're talking about the guy who's literally making you money, you
Hmm.
kind of have to have a little bit of grace for them until otherwise, right? I'm not going to tell you not to speak your mind, but that's like, that's a definition of like, you're checking, like your friend just fell really bad, and instead of checking on them first, you immediately just laugh. I mean, we all chuckle a little bit, but then we're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you good?" And then he says no, and then you're like, "All right, maybe we can laugh about this later." That's literally what he
Yeah.
did. That's literally what he did. I mean,
You know. So like yeah, I like and again, like even going off your analogy is sometimes like I'll have like an outright moment where I just like I feel like I've gotten something wrong, and I'm just like, man, fuck, like I gotta go back, I gotta
mm-hmm.
fix this, like fuck, I did say this, and that the other thing happened, fuck, like again, like I think I remember when Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez was happening. I remember being upset that I was like, man, I just remember like the weight cut stuff and all that being an issue, and I just remember being like, "What the fuck?" I was so upset, like, because I was like, it felt in that moment, it felt like, because again, like I'm real cool with Diego, and then seeing like the weight class shift, and then like I was just like, "What the like?" I was immediately like, "Oh, he's just trying to get in the van, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that." But then come to find out a little bit later is because he was sick, and then there's that, and then
Mm-hmm.
that's whenever Dan Ige jumped in. And so for me, I was more along the lines like, oh, damn, I fucked up. Like, damn, I got that wrong. Like, he was really fucking sick. He was really hurt. So for
Yeah.
me, like, I had to eat that. I did that. I
Mm-hmm.
said that wrong. Now I started. Now I don't immediately go off my first thought anymore. It's like, let me think about that. Sounds a little fishy, but let me think about that.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. And they keep asking here because I can see the chat on my side. They really want to know what was going on with your stance against the Ricky fight. They were real
Oh
curious.
yeah, yeah.
What?
The stance change, or yeah, because again, like whenever you're fighting somebody shorter, like like I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of very low. Like
Yeah.
I had to fight a very low. Like again, that's where it comes into tactics. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he like if I stood tall like how I did against Marcos, he's gonna level change and get to my legs really
Yeah.
fast, and he's already short. So for me
He's
standing up
real short.
super tall to going to low, it was gonna take time. So
Yeah. I
for
mean,
me, I already had to have that like wrestling defensive position. So that's
yeah.
why I was like really low that fight, kind of moving around, and also too like a lot of those shots that he was taking, like bro, I was already matched levels with him. The only time
Yeah.
I that he took me down like in the open mat was because I got comfortable and I stance switched right in front of him and my feet were
Mm-hmm.
planted and I was
Yeah.
looking to counter
That
and
was the quick one. That
literally
was like the second minute of the second round, right? It was early.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
as soon as he like and I switched, I got comfortable because again I started feeling myself in that second round and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, everything I do is landing and everything. So I was like, I
Yeah.
got a little bit comfortable. That happened. He shot. So for me, it was just more about staying low because again, I already knew he was going to shoot. He
Mm-hmm.
already knew he was going to shoot. Like it was going to wrestle. Again, nobody wants to really stand with me. Like so. Like Ricky definitely did not want to
No,
stand in front of
no.
me. So for
He was
me, like I already knew I had to get low.
Yeah, he was bouncing around a lot. You could tell he didn't want to throw hands.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, like you said earlier, like every time you touched him, he was shaking his head, he was blinking a bunch. Like he could feel the power. I mean, he is definitely getting up there in the age with the with that, I know we're circling back to that. Did the UFC kind of like talk to you afterwards? Like what they did with like Dana White did with Volkov? They were like, hey, like you got fucked. Like we're gonna make sure you're good, or were they just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like everybody's treating it like an absolute win. Like I went to go do media
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. Like Sean Shelby came to the medical tent, was checking up on me, and like we're sitting there talking, having a conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
like it feels like it's a win. So I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm not too tripping, not tripping too bad about it. I do feel like my job at the UFC is still intact, especially after those last 10 seconds. but uh, but yeah, like it just feels like it's a win. The only thing I don't get is like my other half of my check. So that's the part that's a little bit annoying on my end. But it is what it is.
I feel like a draw. You should get like your show and like a quarter of your win money because you technically
Yeah,
didn't lose. You know, like
yeah.
they helped me out a little bit.
Yeah,
uh,
no. So I'm just like kind of sitting back, like from what I understand is like I'm thinking I'm not 100% sure is like, but there might be something in the works, man. With like from
yeah.
like I think there might be something done, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, they I deserve this or I deserve that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like after talking to Cub Swanson like about it like that night of the fight, like he was just like, yeah, no, bro. It's like you got to keep fucking working. You got to get out these contracts to get a flat rate and get out these
Yeah.
contracts, like fight through them. Like, because he's like, man, like you got to the point where you don't want to fight just to try to fight to win some extra money. He's like, no, you just
Yeah.
want to be able to show up and just fight. And that's
Yeah.
exactly where I'm at.
So okay, so yeah, I get that. So you're saying that you're at that level where you're
Oh
not
no
on the
no 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 no
show.
no!
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay,
trying to get there. I'm trying to get there.
okay,
Like
yeah,
that's where I
yeah.
wanted. I meant to say where I'm trying to be at. My
Okay,
bad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was like, I was like, all right. I was like, I mean, if the UFC is, I was like, let's go. I was like, I mean, good for my boy,
Yeah.
but
No.
I
Yeah.
want,
No.
yeah,
No. Yeah. That's what I'm
yeah,
trying to get to.
yeah. Sorry, I was choking up on my words there. With that, what do you think it's going to take you to get there? Like, I know we need to get to that like very like household name status, but I feel like at one
Mhm.
point you were a household name, right? And then the Rob Font fight happened, and I don't think you're that far apart from that status that you held when you first entered. What do you think it's going to take for you to get back up into like the household names?
Yeah, I just got to keep coming up and performing like the way I just did. Like
Mm-hmm.
the only reason why that first round started off a little bit slow is because again I had a close to a year and a half layoff, and like again it was a month notice for me to get a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like if I'm able to keep progressing and show levels to what I'm doing, just like the way I did in that Ricky fight, again like like it took Song Yadong up to like 4 to 5 rounds to like drop him nasty the way that I did, the
Mm-hmm.
way I did to Ricky Simone. And I was mine was way more violent. Again, it's kind of also like it's like nitpicky here and there, but at the same time, for me, I'm looking at it like, nah, like I was able to do this. There was a guy who's been fighting at the top. He's fought a lot of the big and up and coming names, and now I'm one of those
Yeah.
guys, and I got to keep this train rolling. Fight somebody else. Fight another good fight, and like show up and show out every single time.
So to keep that train rolling, who is
Mm-hmm.
someone you're going to want to fight next? Right, the bantamweight division is full of prospects, contenders, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're right in the middle between. I don't, you need to be ranked first off. There's a couple guys in the division who, even with your year layoff, should still be ranked under you. I feel like you're in between that you're. It's like what like J Cole said. You're in between little bro and Unk. You're like right in the middle. You're like big bro. Who is
Yeah.
someone that who is someone you would like to fight? There's Malcolm Wellmaker. If Sean O'Malley opens up, you called for that a while ago, and then the canceled fight between um Christian. I'm not even trying to butcher
Oh,
his last
Christian.
name.
Yeah, Christian
Yeah,
Quinones. Yeah.
and then there's Cheeto. Cheeto's a good. I love Cheeto's one of my favorites, but it's a good name builder. Like, who are you
Yeah.
looking for?
Yeah. No, 100%. Like I definitely the only reason why I would want to go back to fight Christian Quinones is literally just because like the whole fight week fiasco thing was
Mm-hmm.
because like bro like the reason what to me was so stupid like I'm just like, bro, like if you were to just to be on top of your shit like how a man should be, like it was visa issues.
Hmm.
Why the fuck are you trying to get that done like so last minute? Like again, I'm just super annoyed because like I like it was my fight to come back to,
Yeah.
and I'm like, bro, like it was at that point in time it was supposed to a year layoff, and I just wanted to go out there and get a fight in. I really didn't care who it was, and it was offered Christian Quinones, and I'm 100% ready to go for that.
Hmm.
And then just the whole fight week really fucked me up, and like bro, like it put me down like this weird space, but also at the same time I needed that because again I wouldn't be in the position I am now. Like I ended up going into a fight with Ricky Simone, who has a better name than Christian. Again, it would just be more annoying, like more like
Yeah.
I'm annoyed with you, Christian, that's why I want to fucking fight you. But like honestly, anybody who has a name, like I want to fight the names that's gonna get me closer to a ranking, and also even then too, bro, like like a great name, like great name in what's called like me trying to call out Sean O'Malley right now is super redundant.
Yeah.
So like this like bro, like I'm not in that stratosphere yet. I haven't hit that
Hmm.
atmosphere yet. So I honestly a person who I've seen a couple people match me up with, and even on Instagram, like Cody Garbrandt would be a nice fun one,
Cody
just
would be
because of
good.
just
Yeah.
because it's also like a good name builder. He was a former
Hmm.
champ. You know, I can rest my head on that Ricky Simone fight and be like, man, yeah, like in my head, I beat this guy, and he
Hmm.
also has a win over Marab, who was
Yeah.
at one point was talks of being the bantamweight goat, So for me, like I'm just like, yeah, like I want somebody who's gonna build my name, who I can put on my resume and be like, yeah, I fought them fuckers.
I think the Cody Garbrandt fight is the perfect fight to make. I was gonna suggest maybe go get like a well maker after he got boxed up by Ethan Ewing. And that's nothing against Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing might have some of the crispest boxing I've seen in the bantamweight division, like just
Oh, he's
technical wise.
oh yeah, he's
And
an absolute stud. Yeah, he's an
yeah,
absolute stud.
but I love or I was even recommend the Kiona's fight again. Especially because how everything happened, pulled out, and after his performance against Chris Mutino, I mean, if
Yeah,
we're gonna be honest, that was a layup. That was LeBron D Wade lob heat slam dunk, and he fumbled it. He may have won the fight, but everyone else that fight, and this nothing against Chris. I understand, right? I'm not a fighter.
yeah,
Chris probably whooped my
yeah,
ass, but after everything that everyone else did to him, for someone to have like to be this massive prospect coming up to go to decision and I wouldn't even say a close one, but have a closer couple rounds with him doesn't really make me think he could take on an Adrian Yanez or maybe even a Malcolm Wellmaker or an Ethan
yeah.
Ewing.
Yeah, no,
So
I definitely don't think he's in the position to like, I don't think I don't want to get disrespectful. My bad. Like it's because I'm just annoyed by the whole by the whole fight situation. But again, like I don't know who he is. Like I don't
mhm.
know him personally or anything like that. It's just more of that annoyance. But again, I it wouldn't be a good idea for him to take the fight with me,
Yeah.
Malcolm Wellmaker, or Ethan Ewing. Again, because I think we all three of us would be able to put him to sleep and do it
Mhm.
with ease. But
Yeah.
like if the UFC would offer me that, 100%, I'll take that.
Fuck.
100%. I take that
That's
100% all day,
that's a
every day.
layup. That's a layup. He, as my boy Marauder says, you gonna beat him up. That's bad. That's bad. It's a real bad fight for him, dude. And I mean, it makes me think that maybe he might have understood that. I don't know. I never want to call someone a duck unless it's blatantly obvious. Um, John Jones. Sorry. Um, but with that going forward, if with the way the UFC's been going, right? The Volk Diego second fight, no reason. Paddy
Mhm.
Pimblett, Justin Gaethje, there's better options. Masfar and Larone getting skipped, obviously for Diego. If if you watch the White House card and we watch Sean O'Malley get a KO or even a very close, like boring decision, like the last Song Yadong fight, with the way Marab's nose is and the way they were supposed to fight in August, do you see them skipping Marab for a Sean?
Oh yeah, I can definitely see in a world where they do that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because again, Peter Yan. he lost to Sean O'Malley, and then like it makes it like as soon as Peter Yan won, I immediately thought that Marab was not going to get the next title, like was not going to get the next shot,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the fact that they were going to see what that fight with Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong was going to do.
Yeah.
You know, like well, if my timeline's correct,
Yeah. So
you know,
so it was the Marab Yan fight. They were recovering. Yan had back surgery. Then you have, yeah. I mean, I agree
okay,
with you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like he could like honestly like he had a perfect case to put himself right back into in title
Mm-hmm.
title contention just because he has the win over Peter Yan,
Mm-hmm.
but also like everybody's saying he has a layup against Aim Zahabi, which like if you're looking at it a certain way, you definitely can say that. But like if you know Aim Zahabi's been in there with some fucking animals and he's been able to show up and show out and like
Mm-hmm.
bro, like you might not like his fight with Jose Aldo, but he went out there and took a kick to the face and still
Yeah.
fought his ass off.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm like, dude, it's not a cakewalk for Sean. And like again, it like depending on how that fight goes, if he wins, he might just overstep. He definitely might overstep Marab, especially if he does it in fashion. If he goes
Yeah.
out there and starches as a hobby, then yeah, he's for sure getting the next shot, no doubt about it. And then Marab is just either gonna have to take a fight or he's gonna have to sit back and wait.
Wait. Yeah. Do You've called Sean O'Malley a duck prior, that
Mhm.
he's ducking other contenders. Do you
Yeah,
still think that's so? With the Umar, the Corey Sandhagens, he's ducking those guys who might give him a better stylistical fight and trying to just take, I wouldn't say easier fights because Amin Zahabi is not an easy fight,
yeah,
but more favorable matchups.
yeah. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what goes on in their like who
Mm-hmm.
gets offered to him. Like I'm not in those rooms or anything like
Yeah.
that. But like there is times where, especially on the come up, man. I remember I was watching his come up very closely because I already knew one day that me and him were gonna step across. And as soon as he started mentioning my name, I started really looking and be like, "Oh, bro, he got ranked off of beating a guy who was doing." And again, like these are all like valid reasons, but also you can turn around and look at my resume and poke and prod to do the same thing too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so like it was one of those it's one of those like I don't know who's getting fed who because again for me I'd never chose any of my opponents. I was just literally like the UFC offered me it. I said yes, and that's how it went. And honestly, I can see the same thing happening for Sean. He might have more conversations with the UFC who would want next,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like to me, like it was just more along the lines of like yeah, like it might be a mixture of like the UFC just offer him the fight and he never got a Corey Sandhagen offer. It might
Yeah.
be as simple as that, or he might have ducked. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I won't really know.
Mm-hmm. No, I get exactly, like I understand what you're saying. With sorry, with the whole situation with Corey Sandhagen, if with Sean O'Malley and Eamon Zahabi, who do you have winning and why?
I got Sean O'Malley winning, just being out techniquing him.
Mm-hmm.
But I again, I wouldn't be surprised if Eamon Zahabi would be able to like. I'm gonna use this analogy for this one. It's not even an analogy. It's more I always picked against Charles Oliveira just because
Yeah.
I saw him like it felt like I saw him quit in that Cub Swanson fight. I seen him
Mm-hmm.
quit multiple times before, and on the way up,
It's
I'm
my
like, oh
goat.
no, that guy's too much. That guy's too much. That guy's too much for Charles. That guy's too much for Charles. And and every single step of the way, I was getting proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've been doing that recently with Eamon Zahabi and he's been proving me wrong every single fucking time. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Like he's Charles Oliveira now to me. So I'm not counting him out, but I'm
Yeah.
also like I know how good Sean O'Malley is, and I think Sean O'Malley is gonna win. I think he's technically way better than Zahavi, like especially in the striking department. But I'm not counting out Zahavi. I'm not gonna count him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with me with Sean O'Malley, he was a great watch on his come up, and
Hmm.
then it's it's as if he started when he started facing higher level competition, his ability to finish the fight went away. I mean, obviously there's the Aljo fight that we're gonna have people comment that yeah, he finished Aljo, it's a good finish. But then you
Hmm.
have, Chito Vera, you hit him with probably one of the hardest knees bantamweight division has ever seen in their entire life, and you
Hmm.
can't stop him. And then you fight Marab and you get out wrestled, even though you've competed in multiple grappling matches. Then you fight him again for whatever reason and then get submitted. I
Hmm.
think as he progressed further, his ability to finish has disappeared, but I think it's being masked by all the fame and all the eyes he has around him that people aren't realizing that he isn't the same Sean O'Malley from 20 what he debuted in 2020, 2021, something like that. Around that same time, he's not the same, and it's I don't know if it's because he's not that old. Maybe it's because of his lack of training. Maybe it's just because these guys are that good. They have a better chin. I think that this fight is being diluted by his name and not understanding
Hmm.
that Amin Zahabi is a top tier fighter and he is going to put it on Sean O'Malley. Do I think he absolutely wins? No, I think it's going to be a very back and forth fight, just like the Song fight, and there's going to be a lot of controversy behind it.
Mm. I can definitely see your point, but I know as fighters start getting closer to those top, especially in the rankings, as soon as you start fighting higher level competition, a lot of finishes stop happening.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why whenever Anderson Silva was on his run, like bro, it was always amazing to watch because again, he was doing that to the highest at the highest level at that time. He kept finishing people. Uh, and bro, like again, it just got to the it gets to the point where like a lot of these fighters are just looking to win, especially at the highest, like especially in the rankings, because everybody wants to hold on to the rankings. Though I
Yeah.
think the fighting style just definitely changes over time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the guys that you're fighting are better. They're not gonna run into this like they know that you like a step back right hand. Oh, like let me plan for that. Everybody's game planning, so it gets a lot harder to actually
Yeah.
get to the finish. That's why like I get so impressed with with fighters at the top level still finishing fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like because it gets super hard towards the top, super hard. You're not gonna be fighting like and even then like you hurt like somebody gets hurt in a fight like the like people are now training to recover for that in the fight. Like you get hurt, they're
Yeah.
training for those stimulations, they're doing all this stuff. So yeah, like it's like a yes and no factor for me. Like yes, I do think that like his style definitely changed and he's not able to knock as many people out because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also at the same time it's just better competition that know how to
Yeah.
handle that a shot a lot better as well too.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying with with what you mentioned about how fighters are just looking to win the fight rather than looking for the finish at a certain level. Do you think the way that the UFC has been, moving and grooving about just cutting people if they're even remotely boring, do you think that has changed the way fighters, go out and actually fight their fights now?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot more people are willing to take more risks now. But also with big risk comes with with the opposite shit happening as well too, you know? So like for me, like I see the 100K bonuses, I'm like, fuck yeah. And
Yeah.
even if I don't get the 100K bonus, it's another 25K bonus, you know? So it is what it
Hmm.
is. But I know a lot of these fighters are really just looking to win. Like
Hmm.
like again, like my fight with Marcos. Like I think that's also another great example is that he played the system. He played me very well, especially in one of those rounds where I rocked him with the shot. He pointed to the ground, and I was over here
Yeah.
thinking like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm obliged." And next, he takes me down.
Yeah.
So it was like more like he was more point like out trying to. He was looking to outpoint me while I was trying to put him to sleep,
Yeah.
and yeah, like there's a lot of stuff like that's happening. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that people are doing nowadays, and I do think that more fighters still looking
Hmm.
for the win.
Yeah.
But even then, like I just like I hope it changes, like that a lot of these fighters go in there and try to look for the finishes because again, it makes for great entertainment, and that's what the UFC needs. But you can kind of see even in a win, Javid Bashra got cut.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so
Well,
so it's
if
like,
we're gonna be honest, I mean, he that was a very close fight against. I mean, even Gianni. I spoke with Gianni, and listen,
mhm.
Gianni hit the clip of a lifetime. He said he took half my paycheck, but I took his contract. Then he got cut. I was like, damn, that's full circle. But
Yeah.
I listen. I mean, I don't know why Javid got cut. Maybe it was because this guy stepped in on super short notice and literally, I thought they fought to a draw. I thought that
Hmm.
if there was ever a draw, I thought it was that one. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, it's even I saw it the most in the Mavzar versus Larone fight, and shout out my boy Zombie Man Jay took that L. Um, but I think if Dana didn't start doing those things, making that cut, we would have watched a Mavzar 25-minute wrestling match, and it made Mavzar want to go out there and strike a little bit and actually showcase that he might have some hands. I think that's what caused that whole issue there was maybe that Masvidal didn't fight his fight because he was worried about getting jumped for a Gene Silva or something.
Oh yeah, I think that 100%. Like he was looking to try to go out there and make a point, and made that fight a lot more closer than what it was. And like you can even tell, even in their grappling exchanges, he wasn't 100% really kind of going after and really looking for control. He was just more like, "I'm going to take you down. I'm going to get these points." And and he
Mm-hmm.
like, man, it was for what it was. Like honestly, I was like really super surprised during that fight whenever I was watching. I'm like sitting back, and I'm just like, man, like I would have thought I would have saw a little bit more from Mozart, but I do feel like if he were to get the next fight, like I do think he definitely changes his style
Oh yeah.
and definitely is going to be a lot more wrestle heavy.
Oh yeah. I mean, at this point, you're fighting for the belt. They can't. I mean, dude, if you win and they cut you, that's
Yeah.
diabolical. That's diabolical. I, um, but then we talked about Charles Oliveira. What did you think of the BMF fight? Do you think it lived up to the standards? Do you think there is a standard for the BMF, or do you think that Charles did what he needed to do, go out there and get the win?
Man, you Charles Oliveira, man, honestly, like the BMF title, like don't get me wrong, the BMF title stands very well with Charles Oliveira.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is a bad motherfucker. So was Max Holloway, and so were all the guys that like Dustin Poirier. So is like Jorge Masvidal. Like most of these guys, like they're bad motherfuckers. But if we're gonna look at a fight that's considered like a bad motherfucker title, that fight has to be fucking ecstatic. Like that's just like even me, like as a fighter, looking at that and be like, man, if someone were to tell me like, hey man, like who do you think should fight for the BMF title? It's like it's definitely Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. But then all of a sudden you
Yeah.
look at the fight, you're just like, no, no, this is not what I was talking about. No,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But again, like I'm not mad at Charles again because again he fought Elite Support and then he went back. I think he had another fight
Gamrot.
before he took So he fought Gamrot and then he fights Max and
Max.
I don't blame him for having the game plan that he did, but at the same time, as a fan, like I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, okay, like again, because again, like it goes back into like again, start thinking in threes: fan, fighter, coach.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I'm just like fuck, that was such a boring fight. As a fighter, I look at it and I'm like, that's not how like a BMF title should be represented. But as a coach, I'm like, bro, get that fucking win, dude.
Yeah.
Go in there,
Yeah.
get that fucking win, dude. So it's like I'm
Mm-hmm.
fighting. I'm in this weird position because again, I am like a fan of this sport and I love watching fights. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I battle those three personalities whenever I'm like watching this fight or coaching. Like I battle that all the time.
Yeah. So for me, that Charles Holloway fight for the both of them, in my opinion, was the most important fights of their career. Fuck the belts.
Oh yeah.
They already want to. They're at the point in their career, and it's happening to Max, where if either one of them lost, if Charles lost to Max, all you were going to hear is, well, Charles lost to a undersized lightweight. He got beat up by an undersized lightweight. How does he compete with anybody else in the division? Now Max Holloway is getting he felt the true power of a lightweight. How is he going to respond? I think
Mhm.
that Charles may have understood that and really went in there and was like, I need to win this fight. It doesn't matter how, but I need to preserve my career and my reputation. And that's why I think he fought the way he did. I don't think it was it obviously was for the BMF, but I don't think he cares too much for it.
Yeah, like I agree. Like it
Mm-hmm.
does give you a little bit of a what's it called? It puts a title around you, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants a title around them. And then also, man, that title might bump up his paycheck. That title might
Yes.
change a lot of stuff for him. So just winning that title, man, might have so much more implications for you in a good sense. Because again, you know what that fight actually might give off. Like it might give off Connor to come back and be like, "Nah, I want this fucking title," you know.
Yep. And now you're getting
But
your red panty night.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like he'd be like, "Oh, but I don't want to do it at 55. We do it at 70." Well, the
Mm-hmm.
BMF title was also once contested at 170. So next,
Yeah.
that fight can be at 170, and Charles Oliveira doesn't really have to cut. So like it makes it's a win-win situation for Charles.
Yeah.
Even if the fight didn't go the way it was like, even if the fight didn't go the way the fans wanted it to, it's a
Yeah.
win-win for Charles.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And that's why, I defended Charles. I was like, listen, and it wasn't like to me, it wasn't that boring. I mean, it was obviously not what we expected, but we have dealt with wrestlers like a Hamzat or early on Islam where they're just holding position or Habib. Well, no, Habib that landed a lot of ground pound. But you have wrestlers who are holding on position and they're like, oh, like he did what he needed to do to win. But Charles was giving up dominant positions to chase a submission or chase the ground pound. And I think it was the BMF belt that really moved everyone from actually understanding that like this guy's just trying to win. But it's a
Oh,
BMF, so he's got to stand up.
oh yeah, 100%. Like it's the title of BMF. If it was just for like a regular lightweight title, then
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like it'd be a flawless, dominant performance. And again, like I'll stand behind that, even if it what's it called if it wasn't for a BMF title. Let's just say if it was just for like a 5 round main event, I'd be like, yeah, that was a beautiful fight by Charles. I was like, but it's literally the BMF
Yeah.
that throws me out, that throws me off. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, I understand.
that's the only thing about it. That's the only thing about it. But other than that, bro, as the coach aspect on whenever I think about a lot of this stuff is like, nah, Charles, you did everything right. Fuck it, fuck
Hmm.
them.
Yeah, yeah, just do what you need to do to win. And so, because I want to talk to you about UFC 327, but before we do
Okay.
that, what just fought? What is your go-to meal after either a cheat meal during camp or no? Actually, give me a cheat meal and then give me your favorite post-fight meal.
Oh man, dude, I like everybody always like asks me like, what do I want to eat after a fight, man? I honestly a lot of times I don't really give a fuck what I eat after a
Hmm.
fight. Like after a fight, bro, like most of the time I'm just like I'm not even really even that hungry.
Yeah.
But like this time around, I went to this steakhouse, and man, that steak was absolutely amazing. So whatever I got
Hmm.
this last time around was amazing. It was
So.
so good. Oh man, so it was just like a steak. It was steak. But my cheat meal, like I go to this place down here in it's in Seabrook, Texas. It's
Hmm.
called Mario's Pizza. I will go to town on a fucking extra large pizza all by myself, and then act okay, and then act like I'm too good, and do one trip at the salad bar and be like, I ate my greens today. But bro,
So.
like it's
So you
pizza.
you haven't strayed far from this photo then.
No, no, that's the pizza.
That's
That's
Mario's
exactly
pizza. Yeah.
that's Mario's pizza
Yeah.
right there. I
Yeah,
fucking
man.
love it. I remember seeing Masvidal do the fucking the two slices on one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And that's actually at the old location. I have
That's
a
the old
picture
one.
at the new location. I have to find it. Like at
Yeah,
the new
no.
location, yeah. Whenever I go, I'll post it up on my story.
Yeah, I was totally hoping you were like, yeah, man, I just this, and I'm like, so we totally just switched up on Mario. Like,
No, no, no. Mario's
yeah,
Pizza is definitely
yeah,
it's still tried
yeah.
and true to this day. Like that place has so much nostalgia for me. I love
Yeah.
that place.
Yeah, I'm doing so funny. I thought I had one, bro. I was ready to have my Nardwar moment and be like, "What the? You know what I mean? Damn,
Yeah,
man."
nah, bro. You caught me having a good
Uh,
pizza that I'll still go back to. Like it got to so much of a point where like, because again, almost every other Friday, my mom would be like, "Hey, let's go out to eat," and then my son would just be like, "Hey, we're picking up grandma, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You
mhm.
know where we're going, right?" And I'm like, "No, where?" He's like, "We're gonna go get some pizza." And I was like, "From where?" And he's like, "Mario's." And I'm just like, "All right, let's go." So
Yeah.
he even it's literally like a hand me down cheat meal even to my son. So hey,
Mhm.
it's in the family.
Yeah. Is Mario's Pizza only in Texas, or if I like, are they
Oh
gonna open
man,
something in Jersey, like the
man,
Mecca of pizza?
I have no idea, man. Like I know they have like a couple spots down here. I think they have one in like Galveston area, but I don't know. It's really it's delicious, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it out there. But
dude, it looks like it's. Let me look at this picture again. It looks like a very thin pizza. Oh no, there it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
it's a
thinner
very
crust pizza. Yeah,
yeah. It's like a Neapolitan. It's the very like personal pies almost.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
And the
those are the
crust
best.
and it also has like a fluffy crust as well too, like a
Yeah,
nice fluffy crunch taste to the crunch. I like to the crust, so I love it. It's my go-to. I love it.
I'm gonna tell you this. If you find your way up here in the mecca of pizza, because it's not better in New York, it's New Jersey. I'm gonna show you what genuinely amazing pizza tastes like. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's fights in May 9th. Pull up. We'll go do a little food tour. We
Hey,
get,
I'd be down.
I'm listen, dude.
Tell
I got
tell tell the UC to put me on as a special guest out there. I'll definitely go out there.
man. They don't even answer my. I'm trying to get media passes. They don't even answer my emails. Like they're like, who's this kid asking for Adrian Yanez to come up and be a special guest? But so okay, so you mentioned passing things down to your son, right? We're,
Mhm.
we're gonna digress from the 327 real quick. Passing
Okay.
down to your son is a tradition. I remember reading that you know what got you kind of into mixed martial arts was that your dad pushed you away from the WWE and to watch The Ultimate Fighter,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes and no. I like we it was more like my dad was like we were watching WWE, but then he would also put on boxing. The
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Fighter, I ended up like not the Ultimate Fighter. It was Ultimate Knockout 7, where
Yeah.
Matt Hughes slammed Carlos Newton on his head and knocked him out. And
Mm-hmm.
like that one sold me. It was
Yeah.
that fight that sold me, and we ended up watching because my dad actually ended up turning it on while I was we were at my because again I this is like one of those like it's into the Spider Verse fucking thing. It's like no, this is a point in time that you cannot change. That was my point in time where I can't change. It happens
Mm-hmm.
in every single one of my life is universes, whatever the fuck. I gotta be high to have this conversation. My bad. No, but no,
Yo, go
no, but
go rip it and we'll get into the
deep, go
woods.
deep.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, yeah.
so again, I remember exactly where I was at. I was at my grandparents' house. We're there visiting, and like I wanted to watch something that had to do with fighting. Spike TV was on,
Dude, Spike
and we
TV
sit
was
there.
was
It,
elite.
it, it was goaded,
Yeah.
and I still miss Mansers, but
Mansers, Thousand Ways to Die.
yeah. So like we were watching, I was watching the Ultimate Knockouts, and yeah, like I just remember seeing that one, and it looked like a power bomb to me, like the fucking like the last ride and all that stuff from back in the
Mm,
Attitude Era from the Undertaker.
yeah.
So for me, seeing that, I was like, I'm sold. And then I
Yeah.
just watched everything else, and I watched Chuck Liddell knock out a couple people, and then I see Chuck Liddell get knocked out by Rashad, like, and just started seeing all these knockouts, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is what I want to do. I love this, and
This is my whole
yeah,
personality right now. Like
yeah, it's exactly what
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah. So wrestling, right? I was a huge fan. My era, I think they called it the Attitude Era, right around when like Triple H was not phasing out, but he was older. Edge was older.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy was older. Who who are you? Who's your Mount Rushmore from for WWE? You can add people in from now or when you first started because I know you're still pretty much an active WWE man.
Oh yeah, no. So right now, honestly, well, for me, like he kind of shaped a lot of the stuff that like he was definitely one of those guys that like really kind of like made me be proud to watch wrestling, and it was Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero
Mm-hmm.
has to be on. Eddie Guerrero has to definitely be on the on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
anybody else's, they like. And then on top of that, actually hearing the stories of like when JBL talks about their matches and like just hearing how like he conducted the match and how he was able to grab an audience, Eddie Guerrero has to be on that Mount Rushmore for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if I'm gonna have to be honest with you, like if I'm gonna go New Age for another one, I would have to put Roman Reigns on there, just because of how he's been able to capture the audience and still have them at the tip of his fingers for the last 4 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
just having them at like in bro, literally, as soon as they hear his music, everybody just immediately starts going to that one. Like they're pointing up the ones, and I'm just like, bro,
Mm-hmm.
like he has all that type of control. He doesn't even have to say much. He doesn't even have to work as much just because of the aura that that guy fucking farms. You know,
Yeah.
so he
Yeah.
has to be there. Uh, man, I'd have to definitely have to put Stone Cold on there.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold definitely has to be on there just because of the fact that like he kind of like brought in a whole different movement, brought in like a whole like made the Attitude Era to me pretty much, and like he kind of made like the blue collar hardworking guy, the guy that who's just had enough of everybody, like and definitely all of America who had bosses definitely fucking like really loved Steve Austin because like they
Yeah.
always want to be that guy to flip their boss off,
Yeah.
you know. So he's definitely there.
Yeah.
And I'll throw another one in there that doesn't have to do with WWE, but it's Sting.
Sting. He was in WWE
Sting
towards the end of his career, but yeah,
towards the end of his
wrestling.
career,
Mm-hmm.
but in his
TNA
prime, he was at
Warrior.
WC. Yeah,
Uh,
WCW. That motherfucker was he was on
yeah.
it, and then on top of that, he was on the Ready to Rumble. Like
Mm-hmm.
that old classic WCW movie. Like that was pretty classic.
Yeah. Mine would be because, like I said, I never watched like Stone Cold Prime. I'm 27. I'm not that old. All right, but for me, and this is based off how these people made me feel. Right, Randy Orton, I hated that motherfucker.
Yeah,
I hated him. I would see him come on my screen, and I wish the worst on him. Then I got John Cena just because that's the good guy, bad guy. If you're gonna have one, I feel
yeah.
like kind of have to have both. Then you got Jeff Hardy and you got Shawn Michaels. That's my Mount Rushmore.
Hey, bro,
Jeff,
I fuck with it.
yeah, Jeff Hardy was, and I love that when he said this, he was bigger than Obama. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He
nah,
was.
100%. I think so. I think so too. Like there's especially during a lot of those times. Like coming up because again like I have like I start looking at things from a little bit different and I'm also kind of upset that I didn't really even think about them as well too. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking of like everybody else is like, man, who was the biggest figures at those moments? And yeah, like bro, like Jeff Hardy is like if there was like a top 10, he's definitely on that list to
Oh
me because
yeah.
he had like bro, me and my homies would have like be on a trampoline and we see a ladder and we just started seeing the
Yup.
dun 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 and it's just like, oh yeah, no, we gotta go, we gotta jump
Yeah.
off that motherfucker right now.
Yeah, yup. Dude, there wasn't a pool with a diving board that I was not swanton bombing off of. I don't care how
Oh,
bad it hurt my back. I was jumping off that motherfucker. Like,
bro. And even just with everybody that you named, there's also people that are doing like the fucking would do like it became a trend on TikTok where people are just doing RKOs to each other, and then like running just out of nowhere, just doing a running RKO, and then you have
yeah, man.
fucking John Cena just sitting there just like this the whole entire time,
No,
and then on top of that, you had the fucking yeah the
yeah,
fucking
dude, stop it. That shit got me in so much trouble as a kid. I feel like it got everyone in trouble. I remember there was this one specific memory, and I was so young, and I don't know why I remember, but I remember I did it in like elementary school, and then my teacher was like, "What does that mean?" I was like, "Oh, just like X marks the spot," which just made it 1,000 times worse because like
oh yeah
he knew what it meant, but
yeah
I was like, hey, "It's X marks the spot," like
yeah nah
yeah,
that's a little
like
fucked.
a little bit, a little bit. But moving on from well, actually, you know what? This if since TKO is with owns UFC, if they
Mhm.
ever was like, yo, yeah, you want to come just do the WWE for a while? What would your person? Would you come out as like? Would you do like the Cain Velasquez? Come out as you, or would you come as like a masked opponent, or where are you playing out as your WWE like stardom?
Man, honestly, I would probably put on a mask so there's no expectations of me. Like, because
Yeah.
again, if I come over, like again, if I do the whole Cain Velasquez thing and I come out and I just like I don't want to see like here's the way I'm looking at it. I don't want to watch an MMA fighter do MMA things in the fucking ring, in the
Mm-hmm.
wrestling ring. I
Yeah.
no, you pull some stuff out, bro. Like if we saw fucking like saw CM Punk pulling some like MMA moves out, making it look like actual MMA fight, you would be absolutely disgusted with the product that you're watching.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the best in the world for like from just like being a wrestler. He's able to capture the moment. He's not sitting there just like, oh, I'm gonna throw this jab and like I'm gonna make it this like right. How many times have people thrown like a punch and you're just sitting there like an actual like MMA punch and they have to pull it and it makes it look so
Mm-hmm.
terrible on screen.
Yeah.
So I would want to sit there and actually try to learn the business and actually try to learn how to do a lot of these wrestling moves and like I would sit and actually be a student of the game and try to make sure that like my persona as a fighter doesn't roll into the wrestling aspect. So I would probably
Mm-hmm.
just be a continued whole new person. I think
Yeah.
wearing a mask would help that out.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they should have done with Kane. I think
Mm-hmm.
Kane should have came out like if you're gonna make him a mute, make him put a mask on him. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
all are gonna figure out who it is eventually, but then like I don't know. I wish they could redo that. But we'll move on to UFC 327. We'll go over the main card. I
Okay.
wanted it's very interesting to me for some of these matchups. For the first one, we have Azamat Murzakanov. He's Russia, but he fights out of Jersey. Shout out. And then versus
Mhm.
Paulo Costa. I see. This is my genuine prediction. I see Azamat putting him out in one in
Yeah,
like the second or third exchange.
I can see that definitely happening. Paulo Costa hasn't been the same since the Izzy fight. He's kind of had this up and down career. He had moments of lapses where he's shown where he's like when he's actually locked in,
Mm-hmm.
he does well. But then
Yeah,
he also had a lot of performances where he just like kind of just shit the bed, and it's kind of been like that I don't give a fuck type of moment. And honestly, to me, I really do see him. I really do see that happening.
yeah,
I don't think he's winning.
yeah. So okay. So we're both in agreement that we're taking Azamat. I agree with that. I think
Yeah.
Azamat is a dark horse of that division right now, and I don't think he's
Oh
getting the
yeah.
love that he deserves. He's putting everyone
Yeah.
to
No.
sleep. Yeah, I mean, granted, he did self-report, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Tainted substance, but horse food,
Yeah.
horse food. and then we have the battle of who's going to sleep first with Dominic Reyes and Johnny Walker.
Oh yeah.
This one, I really like. I want to say Johnny
Yeah.
Walker, but Johnny Walker will lose in the most funniest way possible.
Yeah. Man, honestly, like I can see both going on. Like again, this one's too much of a wild card for me to
Mm-hmm.
choose. Uh, and the way I look at it, I just hope they both have fun before they go unconscious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a gun to my head, and like I have to choose. I have to pick Walker. I think that Walker is the only logical choice, especially with Reyes' age, with Reyes' overall chin recently. I mean, he had his little Cinderella story. I think that Johnny Walker is going to come back, and after his no, sorry, he won the Zhang Ming fight. He's going to ride the high of the Zhang Ming fight, and I think he's going to blitz Dominic Reyes and put him to sleep. Maybe.
I can I can see that I can definitely see that happening because again he still has all of his athletic attributes where he's still jumpy,
Mm-hmm.
he can still move around. Dominic Reyes has definitely slowed down, but he still has that dog in him, but he just doesn't have the chin of the dog,
Mm-hmm.
like both of them either. So, but like I am leaning towards Walker, but I
Yeah.
just hope they both have a good time,
Yeah. I think this might be the closest we get to a double KO. I think if they
yeah,
both catch each other,
and
like
I'd be
just
okay with that.
yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
okay with that.
that would be understood. And then this one doesn't make sense to me. We got Curtis Razorblades taking on Josh Hawkick.
Yeah.
This is to me, before we even get into our predictions or what we think is gonna happen, this to me is the epitome of holy fuck, we need a star. Like holy fuck, we need someone to do something. And I think that we're going to see a potential star, if he's built up right, fizzle out fairly quickly. Darren Till, Patty
Mhm.
Pimblett, right? We're going to see a Patty
Yeah.
Pimblett's that coming up. All these big name contenders. I think that's what's going to happen to Hakic. I think Josh is going to go in there against Curtis. He's gonna try his blitz, his first takedowns, and I think Curtis puts him to sleep. Genuinely.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I definitely do see that happening, but I, the heavyweight division is just such in a weird place that like I don't know. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know anymore. Like and then like if you look at Josh Hockey, everybody can kind of look at him and be like he's kind of corny, but at the same time he's doing all the right things and
Yeah.
promoting a fight, doing all the right things. He might not actually be that person, but the way he's presenting himself, man,
Mm-hmm.
he's putting himself in a really good position to either be like, I told you motherfuckers so, or the other
Yeah.
side be like, oh man,
It
we tried
happens.
to tell you motherfuckers, like,
Yeah.
hey. But like even in a loss, like this is like a to me like a no risk for Josh Hockett because again he's losing to a guy who's contended for the title a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be really too upset. This is all reward, no risk for Hockett. Like don't I think
Yeah.
the only risk on his end is literally just that he talks shit. Like and like people are just gonna be like, oh man, he's not as good because again he can come back his next fight and absolutely start somebody,
Yep.
and you'd be like, oh, he's back.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah, I agree with
so,
you. I mean,
I see this as an absolute win for Josh, whether he wins or loses.
yeah. I agree with you. It's like when Josh Fan took on Brandon Royval. It was
Mhm.
a win-win for him. You lost to Brandon
Yes.
Royval on short notice, no problem. You beat Brandon Royval, now you're
Yeah.
champion. Champion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I always preference this. These motherfuckers will whoop my ass, but I'm allowed to have my opinions.
Yeah.
I think Josh Fan's not terrible. I think that he's got a potential to do great things. I just think that he's in a really tough spot in the division that he's in. I think that maybe if he got a little bit more experience, maybe fought a Kai Kara France, fought someone with someone in the chat just said finished Pantoja in 26 seconds. God damn
Hey,
it.
I like look. I am gonna be 100% honest with you, and
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna be 100% biased on this. 100% biased. I am never gonna say a bad thing about Josh Van. He's a
Yeah.
good dude. Like I've seen his first amateur fight, like to now, bro. Like I've seen almost every single one of his fights, but
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why you should post your hand out there like that. He posted his hand out like that's not how you trust fall.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you fall. That's not how you break
Yeah.
your fall.
Yeah.
Why like Pantoja knows this.
Mm-hmm.
He fucked up. And Josh almost like it's almost like Josh made him fuck up. But again, this is me being 100% biased. I'm never gonna not say anything else. They're
Yeah.
not gonna catch you saying anything else. Josh is the champ. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I can get roasted. I can get flamed. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just
No,
not gonna do it. I'm
I
sorry.
get
My
you.
bad.
That's your no. I'm just listen. I'm here for your opinion, brother. I just think that someone said my boy Zombie Man Jay said Vaughn made Pantoja crumble via aura. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good
Hey.
one. I mean, listen, I just I understand the celebration and everything like that. I just want to see them run it back
Oh
because
yeah.
I it's a fluke. It's a fluke. As I don't know how that flight would have played out. I don't know where it was going, but I think that them moving the division along with Tatsuro and him fighting is important to happen. But I won't, and it's not the same. Like he's not a champion, right? I just won't. I can't give him that. Okay, like you're everything for it until you fight Pantoja and actually, go the
Yeah.
full. Actually, throw a couple strikes and see what happens.
Yeah, you know what? I can agree with that. Like especially like the way it happened and all that stuff. I can definitely be like, yeah, like if I'm gonna be 100% real and be a little bit more unbiased, like yeah, it's kind of fucked up that that's how the title change happened. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like bro, like the celebration, especially like I didn't look at Josh Van's celebration as a thing to be like, oh man, like he's celebrating he got injured. I was like, no, if you knew where he came from,
Mm-hmm.
and how he got there, like every little thing that took for him to get here, like yeah, like he was celebrating that he got the title around his waist. Again, it's not the way anybody wanted it, but bro, like he got it. That's what happened. You know, that's what he did,
Yeah.
and he
So
got that title around him.
You okay? Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't know where he came from. You guys train in the same gym? I know he's from
No,
Texas.
he trains out of 4 ounce. You know, not like I've been knowing him
Okay.
for a pretty good while. Uh, we're cool. We're definitely cool. I wouldn't say he's like oh man, he's like somebody I can call and be like yeah no like I'm just like I seen his rise and I just wouldn't like and I just
Hmm.
always respected how he was always like he's always the person to kind of sit and listen and never try to be like, oh, you know, he was always that guy.
Yeah.
Like, man, if I gave him a little bit of advice, he was sitting there listening, he'd be like, yes, sir. Like,
Hmm.
and I like that. I respect that so much out of him because a lot of people his age do not fucking have that, and
Young.
he has
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah. So would you say that Aljo's celebration of his DQ win over Jan is worse than Josh Vance? I'm
Oh, that's a good
I,
one.
I'm
I will. I'm gonna say it like this. After having a talk with Aljo,
mhm,
it was more along the lines of like, man, like he was not okay with the fight the way it ended.
mhm,
Aljo is like he's like man he felt like he did not like the trans how the title transitioned. It's the people that were around him that were like, bro, you're a fucking champ. Like get the fuck like bro again like just getting to the title itself is a long ass road.
yeah,
It's like bro like it was hard even for myself just to get ranked. And then there was people like Aljo who fought his ass off to get all the way to the title. And now he got it, you know, and then on top of that, he was able to defend it a couple times, you know. So
mhm,
for like so to me, like, yeah, like I I would probably say I'm a Vans is worse. But it comes from like the immediate optics, you know, like
yeah,
Aljo is like, man, his family, his friends are telling him like, hey, bro, take the picture. Let's go. Come on, you
mhm,
like this is a good celebrating moment. Josh Van, it was more like, oh yeah, he Pantoja broke his arm, and it's more like, oh
yeah,
shit, like
yep,
it hit more instant because again, there was no illegal shot from
yeah,
Jan.
yeah. I get you. So I was more leaning towards the ooh, what happened? The more leaning towards the Aljo being worse,
Yeah,
just because of off of what I knew, right, and off of the stuff that I saw was him going into his house, having a party, and everything like that. And I mean, listen, I'd celebrate. I'd
yeah,
celebrate regardless.
yeah.
You know, you
You,
know.
bro, like I'm telling you right now, like I'm celebrating. Not only am I
Hell
celebrating,
yeah.
like I'm celebrating because like my paychecks gets just got so much bigger. Like, bro, there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
to be happy about when you get the title around your waist, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck yeah, I'm gonna celebrate even if it was like a like as you called it a fluke, you know? Like if
Yeah.
like fuck yeah, I'm a fucking celebrate. My paycheck just
Yeah.
got fucking bigger.
Hell yeah. I just made more money. No, I definitely agree with that. So him going to his fight with Tatsuro, how do you see that playing out? Because for me, I see him getting out grappled. I see him having better exchanges on the feet, but
Mhm.
ultimately Tatsuro getting him to the ground, and I have a submission for Tatsuro. But I'm interested to hear your complete take on this since you're close with him and you've been with him his whole career.
Yeah, like I've known about him his whole career. I wouldn't say that like I'm like again
With
with
him.
with
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
yeah. What I will say is that he does have a great team around him.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Pineda, you know, he's been in the UFC. He's been like he's had like he has the experience and also too like he has a lot of knowledge. And then he also has a good team around him. Again, like at 4 ounce, Frank, Joseph McCanish, Daniel Pineda, and then on top of that, his boxing coach at Aslan. Man, like they do a very good job with him, and he's always in the gym and always learning, and he has a lot of people around him to push him, you know. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, like I do think they can formulate a really great game plan to try to neutralize Tatsura, because again, like the hardest thing to grapple, the hardest person to grapple is the person that doesn't want to grapple.
Mm-hmm.
Being the anti jiu-jitsu, the anti wrestler is always easier than being the actual wrestler and grappler. You know, because
Yeah.
again, he's gonna have to try to expand so much energy trying to get to the fight to the ground. You got to expend so much energy to try to keep the person down. Because again, like it's always hard to try to keep that person like controlled. Uh, but yeah, I definitely can see what you're saying. Where you feel like again, Tatsuro Tara is like has some really good wrestling, has some really good jiu-jitsu. He has really
Mm-hmm.
good MMA grappling, and I do see that being a problem for Van. But again, like it goes back to who's going to have the better game plan, who can implement their plan better, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I am going to lean towards Van because again, I'm never picking against Van. Again, sorry, bro. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys. I'm
you're
not going to
good.
give you, not giving y'all my honest answer. It's just immediately
I
biased Van.
I appreciate the not switch up though. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's your boy. Like I get it. Like again, my boy Zombie Man Jay and Larone. Like he would not switch up on him. I understand, and that's that's loyalty. So I appreciate that. So then we go on to the main event. We got former champion Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Olberg. I'm taking this is going to be a very funny fight because you're going to have a goofy Yuri taking on a very like tight boxer in Carlos Olberg, but I just see Yuri outclassing him on the feet at least.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Like, man, like the way he was able to turn it up in that third round against Khalil Roundtree was
Just
absolutely
woke up.
amazing. And just was like, nah, like, and also too, he's so unorthodox that like you can ask anybody who's fought at like the highest level. The hardest person to spar is the person who's super unorthodox. If you fight somebody who's super technical, like you can kind of almost see that shit a little bit easier. And like it's always harder to get that unorthodox guy and like trying to get looks for someone who's super unorthodox, man. Because again, you can get a technical look just by walking into the gym and just being like, oh man,
Mm,
like there's a lot of super technical fighters out there, but people who are able to fight at a high level and be super unorthodox and make it work for them, like Yuri, that's super hard to find.
yeah.
That is
So
super hard to find.
so you're going to lean more towards Yuri on this one.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're pretty much the same on everything other than Josh Van.
Yeah.
We got yeah. I mean, listen again though. I appreciate it though. It's something that you could see a lot of people switch up just because but it's your homie. Like I would never
Yeah.
pick against my boy. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, no. Other than that, brother, like I'm extremely excited to see you get back in there. I know it's gonna take a little bit of time for everything to happen. I need you to come to Jersey. We'll get you on a little bit of a. I'm gonna show you good pizza, bro. Mario's looks good, but but yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, hanging out here, and doing everything. I am gonna put one of my homies on. I've said him a few times. He does a podcast called Across the Pond.
Okay.
He You should hit up Zion Man J. I think you would fit in really well with them. They're
Okay.
very analytical, and if Marauder tries to rage bait you, just don't listen to him. Just don't listen to him. I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
Marauder,
nah.
but yeah. I would definitely try to. I would recommend you go on there. I think that they would hit you with some little bit harder questions than I have. But yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I'm stoked that you came on, and I'm excited for your next fight. And we can make this a regular thing.
Hell yeah. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, man. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and you just keep doing you.
All right, brother. Man, you have a good one, brother. Thank you for the
You
time,
too,
man.
man. Peace, man. I appreciate it.